The opinions expressed on the Custody Queen Show are for informational purposes only and are not a substitute for personal, professional legal advice. The persons discussed are fictional and not based on actual clients.
Thought it was love, had kids in between. You can count on us, we're the Custody Queens. Yeah, you can count on us, we're the Custody Queens.
Howdy, folks. It is Saturday morning. It's a great day to be alive. I am Kristen Holstrom, and I am here with my favorite 6-foot blonde, Sam McBride, and we are here today to talk about spring cleaning. And I'm pretty sure Sam set this up as an intervention for me because we all know that I'm, a quasi-hoarder because, I have bins for my bins for my bins. And today our guest is Sarah Barba, who has made her career out of organizing. And I think for all our listeners, it's not just the act of organizing something. I think it's that you're organized in all of the aspects of your life.
I like it.
It's not just simply putting things in a drawer. It's the mindset that goes along with it.
I really like it.
I know I need this episode. I'm sure many people listening need this episode. And it really goes hand in hand with what Sam and I preach all the time, is that we want everyone, our clients, our potential clients, our friends, family, you always want to be the best version of yourself. And so we are going to spring clean yourself.
That's exactly right. Before we get into today's episode, we're going to look into the Book of CQ. For anyone out there that is new to our show, the Book of CQ is a book of a bunch of questions, and we are going to ask them as somewhat of an icebreaker. So, Sarah, I'm going to put you in the hot seat first. What is your biggest fear?
My biggest fear? Can I say I'm sitting in my biggest fear right now?
Oh, yay!
Awesome. So we get to break the ice with you. Okay.
That's amazing. All right, Kristen, that's amazing. Okay, Kristen, what's your biggest fear?
Wait, real quick. So, Sarah, is your fear the public speaking, or is it just the awkward moments, or is it being on, TV, or what is it?
Yeah, I feel like it's like being on the spot and no time to think, just gotta go, go, go. And of course I want to do a good job, make sure everyone, is enjoying what I'm saying and it's hot topics and interesting. But I gotta say, you guys are making me feel really comfortable, so I'm glad that you're here with me.
Great.
Well, I'm glad that we could help you conquer your biggest fear. And Sam and I are really good at making you feel awkward, but yet simultaneously allowing you to enjoy yourself.
It's a comfortable awkward.
Yeah, I love it.
I'm so awkward. I live a very awkward life.
Oh, as do I. Same. Same. If you've ever seen Sam and I do a boomerang, that's enough said.
Oh yeah, we're the boomerang queens, for sure.
And when I refer to boomerang, I mean the actual, Instagram where you can click on that infinity sign.
The problem is I feel like I have to do the work for the camera. Like, I feel like I have to boomerang myself, I think.
Yeah, and I definitely do way too large of movements.
We're getting worse.
All right, Sarah. Sam, why don't you have Sarah ask you a question?
Wait a second. What about your biggest fear?
Oh, yeah. Okay. All right. Now that I'm a mom, I would say that my biggest fear is that something were to happen to me and I don't get to see all my children grow up and meet my grandkids and their families.
That's fair.
Prior to kids, it was being eaten by a shark or, stuck in an elevator.
Which, that's amazing that Kristen says to be eaten by a shark, because if everyone knows how much I love sharks, I made Kristen go with me shark diving. So you very casually forgot to mention to me that was one of your biggest fears.
Yeah, I scuba dive, and, it's just one of those things where, it can happen, and it's a fear, but I don't let fear hold me back, girl.
How do you feel about barracudas?
Aren't those long, snaky-looking things?
I think that might be the new scariest creature of the sea.
Yeah, they're,
I'm looking into it.
Underwater is a big fear of mine just because you don't know what's down there. You can't see unless you can, see the bottom. It's fear of the unknown.
Yeah, that's fair. I feel like I'm really at peace when I can't see.
Ignorance is bliss.
Ignorance is absolutely bliss for me. All right, I'm going to pass this book to Sarah.
Okay.
So go ahead and open it up and pick any question you want to ask me.
Okay, Sam.
The more awkward, the better.
Sam, what's your favorite time of year?
My favorite time of year is Christmas, for sure. And it didn't used to be, but because my stepdad is so into Christmas, it like brings our whole family together, and he's like pulled us in. So a lot of fun. One of my favorite things to do around Christmas is to like go find the new ornament or Christmas decoration to get my stepdad. I got him like the big blow up, I'm sure Kristen owns them.
Oh, the ones in the front lawn?
The blow up front
yeah.
lawn, yeah.
Every
so,
year we add to ours. The more tacky,
very
the better.
fun.
Yeah, no, and doesn't Matt start decorating for Christmas in like July?
He figured out recently that there's Christmas in July, so he takes out not all the decorations, but the life-size Nutcracker is in the living room, and my mom is not the happiest person about it. And then 365, he watches Hallmark videos or movies, like every movie, and then the second it's like Christmas or Thanksgiving, it switches over to like Hallmark Christmas edition. He's driving my mom to drink for sure.
And you just said something about ornaments, and this is just a little tip that I started with my family when I started having kids, is every time we go on vacation or we go to a new place, is I always try to get an ornament from that place, and then when you decorate the tree, you get to go, oh my gosh, do you remember Riley's first trip to Disney World? Oh my gosh, do you remember having a baby in the middle of the lockdown of COVID? And our tree now is filled with so many memories. And we've been doing this for about 8 years. And no, I don't have the beautiful Christmas tree with the perfectly, designed bows and ribbons, but it's just all about memories. And that's something I just wanted to share with everyone. It's an inexpensive tradition, and the memories last forever.
It's a tree with love.
All right, so let's get into it. Sarah, how does one become an organizer?
That's a very good question. I think that anyone can become an organizer as long as, like you said, you have that organized mind, And also, I think everyone has a different style of organization. Not everyone is going to say, I've heard tips where they say, oh, if you buy something, then you have to let something go. But not everyone has to have that kind of, organizing mind. I don't come from that organizing mind. But I think anyone can be an organizer as long as it's something that you are kind of obsessed with and something that you live and you want to like teach people. Like, hey, look, I'm this way. I can teach you how to do it too. And it can be with anything, organizing or whatever, doing hair or anything,
So how do you start organizing if you look at a space?
Good question. Well, it depends on what I'm seeing in the space. So let's talk about a scenario where something is overfilled.
Okay.
Maybe a kitchen or a closet, maybe,
I
or
would say
something.
my closet.
Kristen's closet would be a good place to start.
Okay, so like,
Which
let's
one?
say-
Let's just pick the first.
So if let's say you open a closet and it's just overfilled, jeans are kind of tumbling out and sweaters are kind of like falling over and stuff. The first thing that I look at is what can we remove from this? Because obviously we need space. So unless you're going to have a contractor come and build you some space,
Which I've thought about.
and that's an option too.
Kristen's got to have a house. It's just a closet.
Nothing wrong with that. But yeah, then you just start to look like, what can we remove from here? And so the first thing could be donations, right? Like, oh, I don't really wear that anymore. Another thing could be like, oh, that's my old prom dress. Like, okay, well, we don't need to hang up your old prom dress in your closet. Let's give your closet a place for the things that you're always like using regularly.
Sure.
All right, okay, I like that. And I'm one of those people that fully recognizes that I have a slight problem and that I have to do something about it, but I haven't reached that phase where I've actually done something about it.
I will, for a brief moment, come to your defense. Only very briefly. But I do believe that you know where everything is.
Oh, I do.
So even though Kristen has a lot of clothes and a lot of things, Kristen could very easily go find this black shirt that she needed, know which closet and where it is. So I will give you that you are you're like the Costco of organized.
That's funny. My husband, when, I go to bed, sometimes he'll love to clean and he'll throw some stuff away thinking I won't notice. And all of a sudden I'll be like, it might take me a week or so, but I'll be like, where was those kitchen scissors? Like the extra pair that I kept in this drawer. And then he's like, how did you remember that? But I do. I know where everything is.
You do absolutely know where everything is.
That's funny.
Yeah, I feel like for me, from an organizational point of view, I watched, what was it called, like Cribs? Remember that on like MTV?
Yeah, okay.
And they'd open the fridge and you were like, we've made it. So like I had this like small obsession with in my fridge, like lining up the soda cans to try to make it look very presentable. And I've tried to recreate that throughout my house. Like in my bathroom, I want it to look like Cribs. I want to like open a drawer and see like 5 toothpastes and like 5 bars of soap. I don't know why I'm that way.
Well, it's a very good dream to have. As you just said, bathroom, I was thinking of the 150 hair products that are sitting on my counter right now. Because, do you need gloss? Do you need shine? Do you need texture? Do you need light hairspray, firm hold? I mean, just a lot of options.
Right. So yeah, that just put me in a spot. I was like, wow, I need to go declutter. I mean, talking about organizing, I hope everyone out there is like, I got to go home and organize.
Yeah, it kind of gives me a little bit of anxiety talking about it because I know that it's something that I have to do. And I think that everyone can admit that when they do a little spring cleaning or they, even just go through their trunk in their car. I mean, right now I have a wagon, 2 strollers, a big crate of Propel, Gatorade, and I can barely even open my trunk. So I know that I have to do it, but raise your hand, if you're out there driving in your car on Saturday morning, that it feels good to rid of some clutter. I know that it does for me. So I'm raising my hand, cleaning out my baby's closet now that we are out of, the baby phase. It's like I can actually see his closet now. But I know it feels good. And when you feel good in one area of your life, Sam, don't you agree that you feel better in other areas?
Yeah, I think that's exactly right. And I know that you were kind of talking about it earlier in the show. Organizing doesn't have to just be like based on the possessions you have around you, right? It's not just your clothes. Or what it also is kind of a lifestyle. You organize your thoughts, right? So, if you translate it directly to family law, a lot of times what we'll tell clients, if they have a lot of stuff going on or a lot of questions, the easiest thing to do is like reduce it to writing, put it on a piece of paper so that we can go through it and you can have organized answers in your mind. Because a lot of times I think that it really breeds anxiety if you don't have a way to organize it. So I think it's transferable across the board.
No, I agree. Even just our calendars. Sam and I have such crazy calendars these days between we have our show, we are real lawyers, certified family law specialists, we have real clients, and then I have 3 kids. Just my children's sports schedule is enough to make most people's heads spin. So when I think of organizing, it's organizing my mental state, organizing my thoughts, organizing what's my husband going to do, where am I going to be that day, and I feel so much better when I do that rather than just flying by the seat of my pants all the time.
Yeah, and by the way, it makes for a perfect client. If you are very organized in your family law case, if you have your text messages, perfectly placed in order, if you have time, if you journal, it helps keep an organization that transfers directly into litigation and into the court process, right? The most effective advocacy is really knowing where everything is as an attorney, right? Because it's like you have a toolbox and you need to know what to use at what time. So if you have that information and you have it in an organized fashion, you're making my life easier, you're making your own life easier, and you're helping your case.
No, I agree. Now, Sarah, how do you deal with people that just want to keep everything? Asking for a friend.
Yes.
But, how do you deal with those people?
Sure. So I tell you what, there's nothing wrong with that. So I had someone call me one time.
You don't need to enable her.
No, truly. So, and I feel like you're organized because I've been hearing about your closet and don't feel like you have too much stuff. I don't think too much is a thing because it's what's important to you. So if you had, let's say, 1,000 pairs of shoes, but you like to wear a different shoe every day.
You're probably pretty close.
Then you don't have too many shoes, right? Because you use them and you wear them and you love them and it's part of your everyday life. But now let's say you had 1,000 shoes and you wear the same shoe every day. Then that's like a different thing.
Okay.
So typically the people who do have, as you were saying, like if they have too much stuff, it's because they love to collect certain things, whether it's books, could be shoes, it could be jewelry, it could be sunglasses, it could be whatever.
No, it is true. And I go through phases. Some weeks it's tote bags, some weeks it was sunglasses last week.
Yeah, and that's okay.
The thing with Kristen, though, is there has to be something, like, auto-generated on her phone that just says, like, buy all. Because it's like, if she's gonna buy a pair of pants, she's gonna buy every single color. Like, and that's just, like, not in isolation. Then she turns around and goes, I need some Sharpies. But I can't just have the Sharpies, right? Like, I have to have gel Sharpies. I have to have the spring edition colors, the glitter colors. I had to have the whole set. So she does do that with everything, right? She's got to try it out.
Sure. And there's nothing wrong with that. That tells me that you're
Sarah,
fun.
We were meant to be friends, Sarah.
Sarah, listen,
I'm telling you. Well, because look and from my standpoint, let's say that you did call me into your house and you said, hey, I have this problem, okay? And I'm like, yes, you're right. You have this terrible problem. Get rid of 90% of your pants that you bought. Get rid of 90% of your Sharpies. Get rid of...
I'd fire you.
That is not going to work for you, right? So you have to find a way. So if you are... Yeah, and if you are, let's say, a collector of Sharpies or whatever it is, you just have to find a way to creatively organize that so that, you do know where it is. And when you're ready to be, in the Sharpie mode again, you can find it again. So enabling, just helping.
Do you believe, Sarah, that there is such thing as too much stuff? You just maybe haven't seen it yet? Is it possible?
I mean, yes, I think it's possible. But I think also part of it too, and I feel like this is what you girls do with your clients, is you find out who are they. And it's not a one size fits all for everybody.
That's exactly right.
So it's like, oh, okay, client, what's your situation? What's going on? You could have 1,000 different clients and give 1,000 different types of advice.
Agreed.
Yeah, so in terms of too much stuff, if let's say I were to find someone, let's just say I go into a room and it's filled with whatever, Sharpies and pants, floor to ceiling, I feel like there's a way to organize that and talk about it and figure out, well, how does that person use it?
Yeah, is part of that solution bins?
Yes, it is.
I love bins, Sarah. I'm Kristen Holstrom, and I love bins. My bins have bins, and if you guys have been listening to our show for the last year, one of the things I do when I'm super stressed out is I literally go to Target and I go down the bin aisle and I buy a bin so I can, clean up one area of my life. And, I don't know, it's symbolic, but I love the clear bin so I can see what's in it. If it's a clear with red handles, then I know it's Christmas. My bins have bins. I love bins. And my husband hates my bins. He literally hates my bins. He'll throw them in the trash and then I dig them out of the trash. So, marriage is a compromise for sure. But I do go through these moments throughout the year of where I just purge. I have to do it on my terms. I have to do it when I'm ready, but I will spend an entire day in my closet and I will fill 7, 8, trash bags of clothes. And then I love sharing them with my employees and everything. Because I am the girl that probably has 200 black shirts. That's just,
absolutely.
It's me. I love all different fits. I love all different materials. But now that I'm, getting older, I am getting a little bit more set in my ways and know what I want. And I don't need as many options.
That's fair. I agree that you do a seasonal purge.
I definitely need to do one because I know that it will make me feel better. And I know that I will feel better walking through my house and not having 12 Amazon boxes sitting in the corner.
Yeah, agreed. So, Sarah, do you have any, tips just in general for organization?
I have lots of tips.
Can you give me some?
Yes, I do. But since we're talking about closet, I feel like I'm not alone in this. I feel like there's got to be someone else out there.
Okay, we'll see.
Okay. So you know how let's say you wear something and you just wear it, I don't know, real quick somewhere. And then when you come home and you're going to go get in your PJs or whatever, it's not laundry.
You hang that thing back up.
But you don't want to put it back in your closet, right? Because it's
sometimes
like,
I
wore it out.
Me
do
too.
you?
To be real, I do. Yeah. I mean, why not? You do maybe a little
just
sniff
smell
test.
it. I was just going to say, just smell it,
Well, for me, it just feels weird. I feel like I've worn it, so it's like this in between, right? So, Am I alone? Okay, we're
think,
together?
Honestly,
okay.
I think there's two kinds of people.
Okay.
There's people that will put their clothes back in the closet, and there's people that will do laundry. So if you found
I'm an in-betweener.
some in-between, I'm interested.
Okay, so do you guys, have you guys heard of a valet rod?
No.
It's basically a piece of metal or aluminum.
And it
or
comes
whatever.
out?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I got 2 of them.
So you can push it. So it screws into wherever your closet is,
Okay.
and you can push it in when you're not using it, so it's like flush.
Okay.
But then when you need it, you pull it out, and you can hang stuff on it.
Nice.
And so that's kind of it's in between. It's not hung up with my clothes. It's not in the laundry. So if
But then where does it go?
Ultimately, you have
just
to put
hang
it
it.
away.
You hang it there because you don't want it on a chair, or I mean, I don't. You don't want to like fling it over a chair in your bedroom or whatever. So you just hang it on the rod. That way it's in the closet. It's like it's got one
Okay.
foot
No,
in,
I'm with you. I'm
one
with you.
foot in, 1 foot
Yeah,
out.
I have 2 of those, and initially it worked just like you're describing it, and now it's just extra closet space.
Yeah, I was about to
And
say.
now there's about 30 shirts, But it is that, okay, so say my house cleaner helps me with my laundry, and then I bring it up, and it'll sit there because I'm like, oh, I have no space in my closet. I have to pull stuff out. Everything's so crunched together. Oh, so we'll just leave it there.
Do you have chairs in your room that you hang stuff over?
No. I do have a garment rack in the corner of my room that started with a few shirts, and now it's completely full. Yeah.
Sarah, you're not changing your mind at all about this excessive clothes?
No, I really want to come and see your closet. I'm
She's got a
excited.
small little rack in the corner of her room.
Yeah, it's got about 300 things hanging on it now.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, and so everyone listening, if you know that you want to clean an area, or you know that you want to get organized, like your garage. So my husband and I have been saying for a year, we need to clean out the garage. Give Sarah a call. How can our listeners reach you if they wanted to have you come over and check out their closet? Again, asking for a friend.
Sure. Well, a phone call is always best, because then I can actually have a conversation with that person, and like back to the customization. How can I help you? What is it that you need? Because not everybody obviously needs the same thing. So a phone call is the best thing. I mean, of course, people do message me on Yelp and stuff, but I always just say, hey, thanks for the note, that's great, I'm happy to help, but give me a call.
What's
'Cause I need to
the best
understand.
number to get a hold of you at?
You want me to say my number?
Yeah.
It's 714-333-5683.
And if you are watching, Sarah's going to repeat that number, but if you are watching, it is up on our screen now. So, Sarah, what is that one more time?
It's 714-333-5683.
And do you have a website, Sarah?
I do. It's xoxorganizing.com.
XOX?
Organizing.com.
Oh, I love that. The second O is the organizing. Threw me off
Got
there for
it.
a second. Yeah, and you guys, when you're going through, a divorce or a custody case, or really any monumental moment in your life, it is good to, rid of that, I'd say like the dead skin, basically. Embrace that new transition. Have the mindset that you're not losing something, that you're moving on to something new. And so that's just, I always tell my clients, this process can be emotional, it can be draining like any other traumatic event, but we want you guys to look at it as the next phase. It's not traumatic, it's not bad, it's just something new. And there is no better time to get rid of the old and get in with the new.
Yeah, and I also think that a really good point is, there's so many things in our life that we're not in control of, right, that are going on, and this is something that you can control, right? And so I think that is always helpful. Focus on the things that you can change, focus on the things that can help improve your life, and the other stuff you just have to deal with, so.
Yeah, no, I agree. And if anyone has any tips out there that they want to share with us on our social media, make sure you go on Custody Queens and Custody Queens on Air. We always love to hear from our listeners because I can use a lot of tips in this area, and I will definitely be using Sarah. I'm not even sure where I would start. Bathroom, closet, garage, basically, yeah, my office at work. I could keep you very busy for for a few months.
What are you doing for the next year?
But it's one of those things that just kind of nags at you, and then you do it, and you're like, oh my gosh, I feel so much lighter.
Yeah, absolutely. And, for everyone out there listening, if you want to give Kristen or I a call, make sure our contact number is 1-800 1-800-419-7772. That's 1-800-419-7772.
Yeah, and you can call us about tips for organizing. I'll leave that to Sam. You can call us about your case, or you can just call us and, go over questions that you may have about anything to do with litigation, the process, if you're even thinking about filing for custody, how do we do it? Because we are here to help in all of these areas. But now, Sarah, we can't end the show without you telling some juicy story, because I bet working with a lot of people that, may like to hoard, what is like the worst thing that you've ever seen in like your organizing career?
Well, I don't want to single anybody out, but I think worst for me is when someone has unreasonable expectations. So a lot of people will send me pictures that they've seen on Instagram, and they say, I want my closet to look like this.
And you're like, there's 3 articles of clothing in that closet.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And not a lot of people see that. They just see, oh my gosh, it's so beautiful, I want that. And if you notice too, it's all monochromatic.
Right.
Even when you go to the Container Store, they have like 3 things and they're all beige.
Right.
Like, who only has 3 beige shirts? Nobody.
Right.
Yeah.
Right? So that's I guess the worst for me, because then I have to try to and change that mindset into, hey, what's realistic for you? Would you like to get rid of 90% of your things and we'll hang up only your beige shirts? Probably not, right? So that would...
I love that you said that, because Sam and I talk so much on this show about managing your own expectations. And I feel like your career and our career path are quite similar. You've said a few things that I'm like, wow, that's definitely in line with what Sam and I believe and how we try to educate our clients. If you don't have reasonable expectations as a client, as a person, then Sam and I are going to make it very clear what expectations you should have, because we are both getting set up for failure if you don't have reasonable expectations and I don't relay those reasonable expectations. And that it applies again to everything in life. If I'm looking at houses that are 3 times what I can afford, I am setting myself up for failure. So in a lot of aspects of your life, it's very important to have a reality check, and you should always be asking your attorney, what are my options? How likely is this to happen? And having real understanding and expectations of what your future looks like in this area.
I couldn't agree more. Thank you so much for joining us, Sarah. It was a blast. The intervention didn't go quite as I expected, but
but I am gonna go home in honor of Sam, and I am gonna pack a few trash bags of clothes and donate them.
fabulous.
So, but Sarah, thank you for joining us. For everyone listening, make sure you follow us on social media. I'm Custody Queen Kristen, and Sam is
Samantha McBride.
And you can call us at 1-800-419-7772. That's 1-800-419-7772. And if you have time, go back and watch our shows, because we're pretty funny and we always look cute, I think. And if you have any tips or suggestions on what you would like us to talk about, make sure you DM us and let us know so we can hit upon those.
And remember,
Let love rule.